So guys, I'm in a bit of a funny situation. I've already done my 100 summons challenge, as you guys will know from the Christmas challenge video, but now I'm sat here with nearly 600 scrolls thinking to myself, is it worth doing 400 scrolls? Now that's the thing, I'm not sold on Tara. Is Tara a fantastic new hero? Absolutely. Is Tara going to define the meta in the same way that Amun-Ra and Ada have in this year's meta? I don't think so. I'm not convinced. Ada, when she came out, revolutionized the game and how we play it, made some heroes completely obsolete. When Amun-Ra came out, she quickly checked a Dark Arthandal exploit that was ruining the E5 meta, and also made us have to think completely differently about the way we build our teams. But the problem with that also came that if you didn't have an Amun-Ra, you felt handicapped or somewhat gimped. Tara isn't the same as that. Sure, people have gone to the extent of proving that Tara's marks aren't removed by Purify and that you need heroes like Belrain and Gustin to get rid of them. But I think that says more for how useful Belrain and Gustin are going to become in the future meta than for how good Tara is. Tara needs to deliver 2 marks to set up for that light seal that will stop opponents from using their passive abilities. But is that enough? I don't know. I'm not convinced. I think multiple Tara is insane. But one Tara on their own? For someone like me who can only probably afford to ever build one E5 Tara in his time playing this game? I don't know if it's worth investing in that kind of thing. It's like Oberon. Sure, it would be really nice to have a team of 3 Oberons. But do I really need that? Do I really need 2 Taras? Is it really worth the resources? And I guess the only thing that's tempting me towards spending my scrolls is the Christmas event itself. I've bought all the stockings, I've got most of these things ticked off, but I'm sat here saying, look, if I get a 5-star Tara, a 6-star or a 10-star, I'm going to get some more rewards. Is it worth doing some more heroic summons to get those stars? I can take a look at these elves. I've got 260 stars, I've not spent any. Should I gamble and go for Punisher of Immortal? It's difficult to say, guys, and I find this peculiar. This event gives so much, I have to be careful not to invest too heavily in it. So I think, guys, the first thing I'm going to do before I make that decision is try my luck at getting the Punisher of Immortal. If I get it first try, brilliant. If I get relics as well, brilliant. Relics are always good. So let's find out. Let's see what happens in this chest, guys. I got glorious relics. Okay, that's pretty neat. Let's try the second one. Hey, there we go. So actually I managed to get the staff without needing to get those 40 extra stars. And I think that's also going to make me think now, well, is it worth going for anything else at this point? I mean, I'm not going to go for Light and Darks. Hero Elf? Is that going to be handy in any way? Well, let's see. I'm really after Gustin at the moment. So maybe I should try my luck at trying to get a copy of Gustin. If I can, is he available? Can I get him? Yes, I can. There he is. Hello. So, we'll make a wish for Gustin. And let's see, can we get him in the first try? No, let's try it for the second try. We've got 30 left. Yes! There we go. There's Gustin. And that's all my stars spent, guys. So looking at that for total efficiency, is it really worth spending the rest of my... Basically, going for the rest of the stars I can get? I'll only get 60. What's that going to get me? Not a lot. So actually, guys, despite everything I thought where I'd be spending scrolls on this event, I don't think I'm going to chase Tara. I don't think Tara is good enough for what I want. And that doesn't mean that you guys that have gone for an E5 Tara have made the wrong decision. It just means it's not the right decision for me. And let me show you in Arena some fights I've been doing against many teams with Taras. So looking at some of these teams that have Taras, it's very interesting to see how my team has performed against them. Now this is a really well made team. They've got an E5 Horus like myself, they've got Dark Arthandal, Ada, Amun-Ra, Aspen, all heroes that I also am using at E5, and then they have a Tara, so that's the major difference. They have an E5 Tara, I have an E5 Mim. And now check this out, guys. Let's see how the battle actually went. Looking at this, you'll see that some nasty CC hit me really early on. Their Dark Arthendal put my Dark Arthendal out of action, and Tara hasn't actually managed to use any of his seals yet. He's put one against Dark Arthendal, but it's not enough to shut her off. And now there she goes. She was shut off and then instantly killed. So unfortunately my Dark Arthendal didn't get to do much. But now here, that's the big thing. You've seen my Horus has been sealed off. So if Tara can heal off a hero with some good passive damage, that's brilliant. And it does mean that I actually managed to get stormed this game, but it was very close. You see a lot of their heroes are quite weak. Sure, the Ada is very high health. We go look at damage, and actually Tara did really well. So from just this fight alone, you could be tempted to say, yeah, Tara, brilliant hero. But if you go and watch some more of the fights, again against this same team, this next fight was pretty much a repeat of the same thing. If you take a look now, is my Dark Arthendal going to get an active skill off? Yes, she does. That's good. And but didn't actually do much. Just hit the Amun-Ra balls. Didn't deal a lot of damage to the opponent, unfortunately. And there goes Tara with an active skill that manages to shut off my Horus. And it's at this point I'm pretty convinced I lost the fight, because Horus didn't get any of his passive abilities through. There you go, Amun-Ra got shut off, and eventually we just get killed. And I think it says more for this team than for how good Tara is. This team is very strong. It's really well built. And that guy is a whale, so you'd expect that from them. Now, if we take a look at Mad Frog, again, he is using Tara. But this team is, again, similar. But they have a Garuda. And I think you'll see now that this team's strength doesn't come from Tara. And actually, Tara is a pretty redundant hero, especially in slot 1, because it means that if my Dark Arthendal goes off, my Dark Arthendal can shut off their Tara. And look there, I was actually lucky enough for Mim to petrify the Tara, and it means their Tara's not really going to do much this fight, which is a bit surprising, really, that, you know, Tara is weak to CC. Sure, he has some control immunity, but eventually, if you get a CC in there, it means Tara doesn't do his thing, and you can eat through. And this fight, it looks like it's going in my favor, and then things change. We realize that actually early CC from their opposing DA meant I didn't have enough tempo, and it's allowed their Garuda to build up just enough so they can finish me off. And the real champion hero in this fight was Garuda. Tara didn't do anything. That Tara could have been any other hero and his team would have been better. It could have been a Horus. It could have been a Cthulhu. The main meta-defining hero that's recently come out these last few months is not Tara. It's Garuda. Garuda has stormed the meta by absolute plenty performance and is destroying lots of teams, doing amazing in PvE and PvP. So, again, did Tara really help that team? Well, I think that team would have been just as good and beaten me just as likely without her. Him, whatever Tara identifies as. Now here we go, MKxJUMP. Here's some fights where things get a little more interesting on the Tara front. So I first fought MKxJUMP, again to see how my team performed against Tara's. And instantly you'll see my Horus is shut off by Tara. And I think that's the reason MKxJUMP won this fight, because Horus, one of my main damage dealers, instantly shut off. And that means I can't get the collateral damage caused by Mim as heroes begin to fall. It's not enough. Mim's looking weak. If he dies, that's me gone. And it's actually kills me off really soon. Which means that actually Tara gets to a point where Tara can do really well. Because Tara is best when there's only a few heroes left, because there is a higher chance that you're going to get a double stack of these marks. And now here we go, we have a Tara, an Aspen, and an Amun-Ra against just one Ada. I don't stand a chance here, because Tara's going to shut off Ada's passive abilities, and that just means Ada's clear game. But things change. When I fight MKxJUMP again, let me show you how it went. So here, Tara didn't get a lock first off. And this is where we begin to see the true performance of my team against this team. So we're getting a good hit there from my Ada. There, Aspen hitting in. I mean, to be fair, Aspen did a nasty bit of damage, but my Aspen can follow up, heal himself, nearly killing all of them. Then Mim's passive damage, causing a chain reaction, and that's enough to seal me the win. The Tara getting crippled finally. You have to give it to Tara for being the last man standing there and dealing a significant amount of damage, but it wasn't enough to stop my team, which has a really good damage core. would my team benefit from a Tara? I don't know, because Mim causes really nice chain reactions that causes my team to get some really good early tempo. Do I want to really get rid of that for Tara? I don't know, I'm not sure. Is it? I only have 500 scrolls. Am I even going to get a Tara? I don't know. These next few fights, Coco Gimbo again, it's a similar picture. We find that Tara hitting Dark Arthandol here, a hero of all the ones here, not the one you want to go for. Ada has nasty passive damage, as does Mim, as does Horus. You don't want to be hitting my Dark Arthandol with this, because really, Dark Arthandol is one of the weaker targets for Tara. So again, that shows the luck factor that Tara struggles with, and you'd think we were going to lose this fight here, but then Aspen is set up for a big burst and clears away, meaning Mim can then get his overall, you know, chain reaction damage that is super strong. And Mim's Energy Steal here is going to stop Aspen from doing an active skill. You can see he had a little bit left, but it meant he wasn't able to get his tempo up, and that means it's a clear win for my Ada, which again, it's nice. And massive damage there from Ada. Horus also following in. Tara, not doing very much. And we look at some other fights. We've got Lager on here. Again, another guy who managed to get an E5. Tara, just as I was testing against them. And it really seems that slot 1 Tara is... I find that a quite questionable decision, because you're open to a lot of Petrify. Mim petrifies front line, Amon-Ra petrifies front line, DA petrifies the slot 1 hero. Slot 1 is not a place you want to be putting a hero like Tara, who if they get petrified doesn't get to use their basic or active attacks, which are the main source of damage for Tara. I find it a really questionable decision. And you see here I just managed to storm him, I didn't even lose a single hero. Tara didn't do anything. If we look at the damage numbers, they're Ada doing most performance there, and it says a lot. Ada is super consistent. Tara lacks that consistency, and I think that's the main sad thing about Tara. Iokas again. Let's see how this went. And I think, actually, if you look at Garuda as a hero, Garuda attacks whenever one of your heroes attacks. That's huge. That's some really good, significant damage that can come through, and is guaranteed, unless you can shut off that passive. And I know people say, okay, Tara can shut off things like that, but you need to get lucky. And if you don't shut it off sooner, you're gonna get killed. If Tara doesn't manage to stay alive for long enough, it doesn't gonna look like a good picture. Sure, you can have 2 Taras on a team, and then you double the chance that you're gonna be able to do that, and that's good. That's strong. But what is the point of DH Games releasing a hero that requires you to have 2 copies to do absolutely brilliantly with? It's greedy, and it's difficult. It means you have to really double down in this event and get an E5 and then use your relics again to get another E5. I don't like that mindset from DH Games, because you can't replace for Tara copies. They're going to be difficult to grab. Why make it necessary for you to have 2 copies of a hero to do well? Even double Amon-Ra isn't necessary. It's good, but it's not necessary. But double Tara, if you really want to get the most out of Tara, that seems like the best way to do it. You have to put out 2 Seals of Light on a hero to lock them off. And I think that's the big difference here. And look, their Tara's already dead. The big scary hero here is, it's the E5 Garuda. It's the last man standing. It's got full health. If it wasn't for that CC from Dragon, I'd have probably actually lost that fight. So, yeah, Garuda, in my opinion, was the hero we should have gone for. We didn't know it at the time because the expectation was there that Christmas was going to deliver us a fantastic new light hero, and it did. But Garuda was really the hero that shone this year. So there you go. That's my thoughts, guys. It's interesting. I'm not saying Tara is bad. Tara just doesn't do for me what I really want. And I don't feel convinced by Tara as he stands right now. Sure, 2 copies would be amazing, but there's no way I'm going to be building 2 copies. For me, grabbing Augustin is the most important thing right now. And that's it. That's my main motivation in this game right now. And on the topic of that, guys, we just managed to get some Gustin shards. So let's go to the bag, summon this Gustin, and end today by getting my Gustin to E4. It's been a pleasure doing this little chat with you guys. I don't normally do a gameplay chat kind of thing where I just share my thoughts. And I mean, again, this is all my opinion. This isn't set in stone. This is actually me talking about my personal situation and how the game affects me rather than trying to give objective, defining facts. I mean, often a lot of the stuff I say is subjective in my opinion, and I have been wrong in the past. I feel like in my most recent tier list, I was really harsh on Aspen because I didn't realise how good Aspen's heal was going to be, because sure, Aspen kills himself with the Amon-Ra curse, but that's not as probable as I thought it was going to be, and actually Aspen is a really, really solid hero right now. That doesn't mean the other dark heroes aren't as good. I think that they're real pretty level at the moment. I think the game's really nicely balanced. And I think that's actually the thing, that balance is something that's really weird in this game. You end up with a forest hero like Garuda, who has flipped the tables and become a really, really powerful hero, stronger than most of the light and darks. And then you have the release of Tara, who could have actually happily have been a different style hero, maybe Forest or Abyss or something like that, and not been as devastating. But now I say that, I think, well, then you could replace for copies of that hero and it would dominate the meta, much like Oberon has successfully done in multiple teams of Oberon. So perhaps it's good that Tara is a light hero, because it's harder to get Tara, so it's much more difficult to get a double Tara team. But those with two Taras will be ahead of everyone else. But then again, those people are whales, so they will be ahead anyway. So, yeah, I see Tara as something for the people that spend lots, and not something for most of us common folk in idle heroes. It's a nice treat, but it's not the hero for me. So guys, if you've enjoyed this video, I'm not actually going to do a closing screen where it's just my face. I'm just going to sit here, me and Gustin, and yeah, if you've liked this video, hit a like, subscribe, put your comments down below. I want to know your thoughts on Tara too, because again, this is just my personal opinion. And yeah, there's going to be some videos in the corner of the screen if you want to check out some more of my content, and you can always back me on Patreon. You can find descriptions down in the link below. If you found this discussion interesting, I'm glad, and I'd love to hear what you have to say, guys. So yeah, have a great Christmas. I'll see you in the new year. Happy idling.